Good afternoon and greetings from American River College on this gorgeous California day, and thank you for joining us as we continue SoCal College Sports' continuing coverage of the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championships of 2017. We're just minutes away from the 3C2A Women's Soccer Championship final as Fresno City Rams prepare to do battle with the Santa Barbara Vaqueros. In the meantime, let your friends and family know that all of our broadcasts are available to watch for free on our website at www.socalcollegesports.com, as well as our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. In the meantime, as we prepare to bring you the first kick, be sure to let your friends and family know that if they were not able to make it out to American River College for the championships, that they can... excuse me, I already said that. In the meantime, be sure to tweet at us if you'd like to give a shout out to any of the players, or just let us know how we're doing. You can tweet at us at SoCal College SPO. That's S-P-O. Back in a moment.
And we welcome you back to American River College. It's the Women's Championship 3C2A Soccer Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoinup back with you, joined once again by Sierra head coach.
How's it going?
Yeah. Yes, by Jason Gant. Very, very excited to get to it, I see, here in Game 2, and why not? This is a fantastic matchup here. Fresno City College, Santa Barbara City College. Both teams undefeated on the season coming in here, and both teams with a little bit of a scare in the previous round. It was an extra goal, a goal in extra time in the second period, or the second half rather, for Santa Barbara City College that ultimately gave them the victory, and Fresno City fell behind before eventually advancing on penalty kicks. So both teams come in here after facing a little bit of a scare, but all season long it appears this has been the two best teams in the state. Yeah,
looking at the overall encompassing work of the season, both of them come in undefeated. A couple of games where they tied both in conference for Fresno, tying Clovis early on in the season, and Santa Barbara, I think, having a tie, at the beginning of the season against Evergreen Valley, a Northern California team, and kind of gotten on a roll since then. And both of them found key players and key times in the semifinals to get big wins. Yeah. So exciting.
Let's start to introduce you to some of the starting lineups for Santa Barbara. On defense, it will be Gardenia Maya, number 5, Anna Telliard, number 7, Madeline Perry, number 16. The midfielders, number 2, Alexa Benitez, number 6, Chloe Montano, number 13, Amber Mulligan, and number 32, Matilda Castle-Ledden. And the forwards, Kat Sheehy, number 4, who scored the big goal in extra time to advance to the finals, alongside number 11, Isabella Viana, and number 14, Lulu Gilbert. And Lulu Gilbert playing over on the wing as well as another player to watch. She generated some definite scoring chances early in the victory for Santa Barbara. That came, of course, on Friday night against Folsom Lake, an eventual 2-1 win.
Yeah, both of those players were very good going forward in the attacking third, and both of them taking players on in the wide areas. So that'll be interesting to see how they do today.
Meanwhile, we'll introduce you to the starting lineup here for Fresno as well. It's Jasmine Garibay, number 3, Sophia Zertucci, number 4, number 7, Ashton Bracamonte, number 9, Reina Riston, number 12, Anissa Wilson, number 16, Precious Goristiza, number 19, Cassie Sandoval, number 20, Juliana Garcia, as we have our first whistle, number 25, Danielle Pacheco, and then number 24 as well, Alyssa Damian. And for Fresno, it's goals coming at you from all directions. 3 of the top 10 goal scorers in the entire state on this team, Reina Riston, Taylor Alkire, who is not in the starting lineup, and Anissa Wilson. So a lot of weapons for Fresno statistically. And that may not even tell the whole story. There's a lot of speed on the wings as well with Ashton Bracamonte, Sophia Zertucci, providing a lot of danger as well in double-digit scores on the season. So it's a pretty scary lineup, at least as you take a look at the stats for Fresno so far this year.
Yeah, with Fresno's overall ability, I think it could come from any direction, but definitely could come from that front line too.
Fresno in the red jerseys will work it from left to right. Meanwhile, Santa Barbara in the white jerseys will be working from left to right here in the first half, and we'll have a throw-in on the far side. We're just underway into the second minute. And while we wondered in the first matchup, in our men's matchup between Taft and Fresno City College, that was won earlier today by Fresno City, after 2 scoreless ties between those two teams, we wondered if we'd see any scoring, and I don't have the same feeling here, Jason. I feel like we're going to see some scoring in this matchup.
Yeah, you never know, though. I mean, the game is funny. Sometimes people get a little bit more nervous in big games like this and we're afraid to throw numbers forward, but it's been a pretty open game so far, so I think we're going to see some goals.
Meanwhile, a chance developing here for Santa Barbara City, perhaps the first penetration, and that pass from Montano is off the mark, and it's a loose ball, and it'll be recovered by Santa Barbara back to Castle-Ledin, and she loses that one out of play. We'll have a throw-in for Fresno City. Bracamonte will bring it in. Bracamonte's speed on the outside was a decided factor in the eventual win for Fresno City. over Santiago Canyon. That came in penalty kicks on Friday. First drive here and a chance developing on the left side. The centering pass is broken up and sent away by Santa Barbara, so both teams have started to make a rush, but nobody's gotten so much as a shot on goal just yet. Meanwhile, the long pass is blocked at the point and out of play, and we'll have a throw in again. It'll come on the far side. Well, I know you know both of these coaches as well for the teams, and it's been a great season, obviously, for both the teams. But have you had a chance to get a look at the teams, or?
I've seen Fresno City play early on in the season, and they've just gotten better and better as the year's gone on. So looks like they're going to be doing well. And Santa Barbara City was in the Final Four again earlier last year too. So it's all them play last year in the semifinal, and haven't had a chance to see them this year though. But actually, I saw them in the Folsom Lake game.
Gardenia Maya on the throw in. Well, it would seem that both of these teams, the numbers just astound you, especially Fresno City. 146 goals scored on the season against 6 goals allowed. Yeah. That is an almost freakish level of domination of your opponents on the season, but just that close, as we alluded to at the top, to not being here. They were trailing in the second half and had to find a way to get back against Santiago Canyon, and of course you wouldn't really expect anything different here. We're talking about the Final Four. Yeah. For a state championship. Looking for Wilson. Wilson in a crowd, tries to fan it outside. Another rush coming for Fresno City, but well covered and knocked out of play. It was Wilson actually playing on the outside who was working against Maya. And now they start to set things up. This is Riston. Riston battling, and that one poked away by Lulu Gilbert, who had gotten back and back out to midfield in the 5th minute. Santa Barbara trying to mount a counter, and instead it's broken up. Now a long centering pass into the box, and Sheehy able to get her head on it just for a moment, but it trickles forward and an easy stop for Castaneda. Something
to look forward here is Santa Barbara's ability to transition and get forward quickly. I thought they did the really good job of that against Folsom the other night. And then Fresno is a lot more possession-oriented. But Santa Barbara can keep the ball too, but they definitely have the power to go quickly.
Viana, the leading scorer for Santa Barbara on the season, fans it outside. They're looking for Sheehy again in the box. Sheehy drives it toward the end line and centers, but nobody's home. Right through the goal mouth and recovered by Fresno City. Coming back the other way, Garibay wants to try and lead Bracamonte, and it's Riston moving over but runs out of real estate, and we'll have a throw in for Santa Barbara. Riston steps in, has the steal for a moment, but then gives it back. Misfire on the give and go, and Castle-Lydon gets it forward to Sheehy, and Sheehy trying to get ahead of steam and has that one poked away by Alyssa Damien. So Damien well positioned and is able to play that off of Sheehy. Cassie Sandoval has that one poked away. And a battle for the ball and a whistle and a free kick coming for Santa Barbara City. Montano will take the free kick. So Montano from just inside midfield chips it into the box, sent back out by Pacheco. Cleared outside, recovered by Maya, who tries to play it back in, but it's blocked at the point. Looking for the lead pass to Wilson. Wilson had it for a moment, gets it back, and starts a drive. Wilson at midfield, fans it outside, but too strong. Looking for Riston on the far side. Santa Barbara City starts another attack. He tries to center, and it's sent back out by Pacheco, and this will be the first corner kick. So Santa Barbara City earns the first corner kick of the day here in the 8th minute. No score. The 3C2A Women's Soccer Championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Happy you have joined us for this matchup of undefeated teams. Fresno City looking for their first championship since 1988. Looking for the far side. Recovered by Maya, who one-times it, but well wide of the mark. And Castaneda will come up with it. Fresno City has made Final Four appearances in 2010, 2014, 2015. Back here again in 2017. That's just since 2010. I couldn't go a lot further back than that, Jason. I ran out of steam in my historical research, but it does show that Fresno City, this is not exactly out of nowhere.
No, they've been
the season that they've had, and obviously this has been one of the top programs. Meanwhile, Santa Barbara here just last year, 2016, and they had not had as many recent trips, but obviously this shows a growing trend in the program, obviously, to become one of the powers here in the state, and they would be looking for their first ever soccer championship here on the women's side.
I think this is the first time under Oliver Drummond, though, that they've been to the finals, actually. They've been to the Final Four 5 times under him, but this is the first time talking to him that they'd actually been in the finals under him. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, it's been that kind of year, and you almost had to expect it as Riston, trying to make a move, loses the handle. And
free kick for Fresno.
And it'll be a free kick as Riston was fouled. Free kick will come just on the Fresno side. Keeping it on the ground. It's Ariana Rodriguez has checked in as well. Ball played along the far side, now to play once again. Moving into the 11th minute. Well, is there a tendency? There's an interesting dynamic here from a coaching standpoint with a matchup like this. These are two teams that obviously, with good reason, are aggressive offensively and will look to make things happen. But this is a huge game. Long pass trying to lead Sheehy. It's off her back, but she recovers. Plays it outside. Benitez starts to move back right. Castle Ladine plays it in to Viana. Viana starts a drive. Gets around, in from the left, tries to center, but there's not a lot on it, and Castaneda out to scoop it up. Well, to finish the question, there would also might be a tendency to be a little tight and a little careful early in such a big game and against such a dangerous opponent. So, which way does this one look to you, at least early on right now?
It looks like it's open.
Wilson with a possible breakaway, off to Riston, in from the right, great save! Telliard, an unbelievable save on Riston, and we'll see if we can get a replay of that.
To answer your question, though, that answers it right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, as if I needed to know. We'll see if we can get a look or two at this one, and I'm told we are getting to the replay. So you see Riston moving in, and this is just a great opportunity, point blank, and this is all about Telliard. I mean, what a save.
Yeah, that's a great save. And it was just action down on the other end. I mean, we had to clear almost. She got in behind the 11, and we got a chance to each side.
And at the angle that Riston was coming from, really straight on, she's really got the whole goal to work with. That's what makes
Telliard
that save even more special. She's not able to cut down an angle there or anything like that. She can go to either side. And I think she's just got to react.
Yeah, it was a great save. Good reactionary save, and she made herself big, and she made the save.
What a job. Garcia, meanwhile, tries to play it forward, but nobody's there. Maya's back. She sends that one forward into Fresno City territory. Fanned outside, but nobody there, and it'll be chased down by Ariana Rodriguez, who will bring it in on the far side. Well, no score yet, but we've had some fireworks early, including a big opportunity for Riston just a moment ago. But as you point out, there's also been a couple of rushes that have produced some results so far for Santa Barbara City here in the first 13 minutes.
Yeah, Sheehy's been dangerous, and so has Viana.
Looking for Sheehy. Sheehy battling against Damien, and it's Damien who wins the ball momentarily, and now Santa Barbara will regroup in their own backfield. Quickly sent back the other way. Sheehy has some open field, a 3-on-3. Viana moving right. Hooks one to the mouth of the goal, but Castaneda right there. So Castaneda well positioned, and that shot came from outside the box, and obviously we have the advantage of hindsight there, Jason, but could Viana have maybe thought about trying to get a little bit closer before taking the shot in that situation?
Yeah, she could have thought about a little bit of combination play, tried to bring some other players in the attack a little bit, but it was a decent look.
Yeah, ends up producing a good shot on goal, but Castaneda well positioned. Fresno City with Bracamonte trying to get around Castle Ladine, and it's off of Castle Ladine. We'll have a quick throw in, and both teams, I think they came out pretty aggressive, I think it's safe to say, but I think they're also pushing the pace more now than in the early going as well. So maybe they did come out playing it a little close to the vest, and that's just what close to the vest looks like from them in the first 10 minutes.
This game's open, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
But now they're looking to make things happen. Riston back to her right. Tries to thread a pass through, looking for Sandoval, and that one broken up on the outside. Santa Barbara loses it out of bounds, so we'll have a throw in Santa Barbara territory. The throw in. Knocked back outside one time into the box. Telliard right there. Telliard. Pop flies. Played forward. Garcia patrolling the midfield, starts to make a move and a whistle, and it'll go back to Santa Barbara. And what was the call?
She called a little bit of a kick on it, but she's been letting everything go, so that was kind of against what's been called thus far in the game, so that was interesting. Well,
I know this, no matter what sport we're talking about, what you want is the official to be calling it one way, however that is the whole way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a universal, it would seem, no matter where we are. Long chip in front of the box, and Santa Barbara will play it outside now to reset. Garibay clears. Back out to midfield. Give and go. Finding Montano, but it's poked away. And now a counter perhaps developing. Zertucci streaks over the line. Terrific lead pass. Riston has Wilson in the middle. Starts to make a move toward the end line, but it's poked away. Boy, a great job on the far side.
Both of these teams are going to score goals.
That was Anna Telliard.
Yeah.
Who I am guessing is Holly Telliard's sister, but that's an assumption on my part. But Telliard with a great poke check to knock that ball free after Riston started to make a drive, and that is not easy to do against Raina Riston, who has over 20 goals on the season.
I'm guessing they're related. They're both from the same high school and same hometown, so I guess you could probably put 2 and 2 together there.
It would be quite the upset if somehow they weren't. Next thing you'll tell me they were born on the same day.
Yeah.
And this one played back in the direction of Telliard. Again, marking Riston. Maya on the far side wants the lead pass. Looking for Lulu Gilbert. Played back. Zertucci into the middle of the field. Finds Rodriguez. Rodriguez wants to lead the charge. Gets it back.
Good patience from
Plays
Fresno
back
here.
outside. That one off of Santa Barbara. Benitez knocking that one out of play. It'll be Bracamonte on the throw-in. Wanted Garcia, but it's off of Garcia and back to Santa Barbara. A possible rush the other way. This is a 3-on-3. Both teams committing. Viana tries to feed Gilbert in a crowd. The ball is loose. Viana had it for a moment. It's poked out of there into the corner where Zertucci will retrieve. 18th minute. Zertucci trying to find Wilson, but Telliard one times it back toward the box. It's a race between Sheehy and Castaneda just has to punt that one away. Gilbert looking for Viana. And that one slips through, and it'll be a goal kick coming for Castaneda. Well, we're in the 19th minute. We don't have any scoring yet, but this has been entertaining.
Yeah, it's been an open game. There's been good
Early
attacking
on.
soccer.
Fresno, 14. On the broadcast.
We have it up there on the broadcast. One less thing for me to talk about, I guess, as it turns out.
I mean, you can still talk about it.
Well, if I can give the score, I can give the time, I guess, as well. In the 19th minute, the kick from Castaneda finds Garcia, gets it ahead to Wilson. Wilson, the leading scorer for Fresno City on the season. Another charge developing as Damien looking for Wilson. Chipped outside and played out by Castle-Ladine. Meanwhile, Frankie Navarro, I believe, is checked in as well. This is Wilson. Wilson battling against Madeline Perry. And obviously, Fresno City, one of the things about them, in addition to the way they play well off each other, is a lot of speed on the outside. Zertucci, Riston, Bracamonte, a little bit smaller in stature, but real burners on the outside. Talk about from a defensive standpoint on that back line. What's the goal? How are you attempting to play when you're going specifically against a very fast flank?
I think that Santa Barbara's done a pretty good job of getting numbers back behind the ball, but it's also delaying space and trying to delay a little bit so you can get numbers back and minimize the space in behind you by dropping a little bit. But Zertucci she's been good at getting forward here.
Sheehy moving right.
Good hit.
Off the crossbar. You almost can't place it any better. Amber Mulligan. The centering pass is grabbed by Castaneda, and we'll take a look at the replay. And Sheehy finds Mulligan in space, and Mulligan elects to go for it from about 35 yards out and nearly finds the perfect spot just off the crossbar, and we remain scoreless.
That was a good strike, huh?
Not bad. Montano has that one blocked at the point by Rodriguez.
They were debating whether to shoot shot from distance. Just when you say don't. It just happens all the time. No.
The throw in is knocked back out of play. Santa Barbara set to bring it in on the far side. This one knocked away. And it finds its way back to Fresno City on the outside. Bracamonte receives the pass. Castle-Ladine marking her. They both go down. The ball squirts free and a whistle. Is this going to be a free kick?
It'll be a free kick.
Now, is this one of those where we were talking a little bit in game one where you want to get numbers back and you're going to take a foul there and allow yourself to set up your defense?
Yeah, but they did have numbers back behind the ball there. So it was more of a girl just trying to contest for the ball on there. So they did a pretty good job of shifting, Santa Barbara had done.
Jasmine Aguirre has checked in, chips this one toward the near post, and the only one there is Telliard. 22nd minute. And still no score. And, you know, it would be easy to talk about the offensive numbers with these teams and what they've been able to do. But it is also worth noting very clearly that these are two of the best teams defensively, statistically, on the season as well. Talking about teams that have given up among the very fewest goals all year long. So solid teams defensively as well, and I suppose that's what we're seeing as well here early on as we're in the 23rd minute. Montano will take the free kick. Chips this one again, looking for the far side. It's played back out to the top of the box. Bracamonte pushed from behind, and there's the whistle.
There's the foul you were talking about earlier.
Okay. Yeah, before they can get too much going against that speed. Going to want to take the foul there and slow it down, and it was Kat Sheehy pushing Bracamonte from behind, so they'll have the free kick just outside the box. Castaneda right to the back line, but it is played back out to Garcia. Garcia tries to fan it outside, and it's intercepted. Santa Barbara will go back to work. Lulu Gilbert coming back to step in front of that one. Viana in the middle, looking for Sheehy. It slips through, and Pacheco will track it down and one-time it back into Santa Barbara territory.
I thought that was a foul on Sheehy, against Sheehy right there. But let it go.
Perry tries to play it back out. Bracamonte kept it in for a moment. Now Perry will just send it out of play, and we'll have a throw-in. A whistle comes in, and is this a substitution?
Yeah.
Garcia will head off.
I wonder if she has blood on her jersey or something like that.
Well, in addition to a pretty open game, a little bit back and forth here, nothing in the way of any significant stoppage either so far in the first 24 minutes. It's been a brisk pace.
It's been a good flow to the game, huh? It's good for a spectator for sure.
Both teams pretty deep rosters, and it's a pretty cool afternoon. But it is the end of a season. It'll be interesting to see if fatigue does yet perhaps play a role as we get into the second half. But you wouldn't really think so on very deep and solid teams. Bracamonte, meanwhile, goes down, can't find the handle, and the ball's out of play.
There's a little bit of extra energy when you've playing in a state final, though, too,
Yeah.
right?
Well, adrenaline can be a tricky thing. Sometimes that tires you out a little bit, too. I forgot one of the games earlier this week. I thought that happened to one of the teams, but I'm blanking now on.
Well, Fresno was in overtime against Santiago Canyon, so they played about 30 extra minutes than Santa Barbara did the other day.
Yeah,
so
Santa Barbara played about 2 extra minutes before Kat Sheehy closed the deal
Sheehy
in extra time.
That was remarkable from her at the end of the game against Folsom Lake. She really set it up and finished it well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that has been a bit of a theme for the weekend. There's some really just some scintillating individual goals.
Efforts,
just really on display. Some great handles and great positioning on the shots. And that was certainly one of them. That would be a real highlight of the weekend. Try to play that one forward, do the Vaqueros, but Garcia able to find that one. And Garcia, to me, is a little bit reminiscent of one of the players that you were talking about from Fresno in Game 1. Really seems to do a good job patrolling the middle of the field and really controlling the play.
Yeah, she does.
Number 20 for Fresno, Juliana Garcia.
Yeah, she's in around a lot of plays. She's getting on the ball.
And, of course, that could be so critical for a team like Fresno that can go from defense to offense so effectively with the weapons they have up front. Zertucci tries to play it outside, but Benitez tracks it down for the Vaqueros, and she'll just send this one out of bounds down the far side. Well, she tried. I'm not sure she tried to. I think she just played it to the corner, but it stayed in, and here is Garcia, marked by Montano. Pacheco. Looking for Zertucci on the far side, and played out of bounds. A throw in for Santa Barbara into the 27th minute. Still have no score. Loose ball, and Pacheco moves up to one-time that one back out toward the midfield stripe. Mulligan tries to play it in, and Pacheco, they move it around, and Fresno City finds it to Aguirre. That looked like a pretty dangerous pass right to the center of the field, and
it seemed calm and collected. They were able to do it.
It was, it was sitting there like a big matzo ball there for a second, but Aguirre able to track it down. Riston looked like she was thinking about trying to lead Bracamonte, but Bracamonte went down earlier on a ball that she lost out of bounds, and she just goes down again, and obviously this is going to necessitate a substitution for Bracamonte, you would think. Not heading off just yet, but she is really laboring.
Yeah, she's coming off, I think.
Okay. 28th minute.
That was about like 8 passes right there, playing out of their own 18 right there for Fresno, though. So they build up. I mean, it was a little bit dodgy there for a second, but they had a pretty decent build up from the back third to the middle third.
So Bracamonte will come out. And on comes Frankie Navarro. Now, unless I've missed my guess here as I'm looking, I don't think we've seen Taylor Alkire yet. And Taylor Alkire, with 24 goals on the season, is the second leading scorer for Fresno City. She did come off the bench in the semifinal Friday, so that is what she does. But we haven't seen her yet. The lead pass for Navarro, too strong.
Making some subs here right now, 4 players coming on the field. Fresno has a tendency of doing this over the years where they make pretty big sub lines changes to kind of keep the tempo high. So it'll be interesting to see if the tempo kind of stays at the same pace.
We have four substitutions, and I believe here is Alkire, the 4th one coming in. So Fresno City coming in with Madison Fisher, Consuela Luna, Gabriella Watson, and Taylor Alkire. So wholesale substitutions here in the 30th minute. This is Fisher, who will give way on the throw-in. Looking for Watson, and now it's Fisher who gets it back, but just for a moment. Out of bounds, and a goal kick coming. Will, is there any either sideline or any team as you're watching here that even in a scoreless game you feel is building a little more momentum in this one? It still seems pretty back and forth between the two.
I think it's like a heavyweight fight. I think they're both taking jabs a little bit. Fresno's had a little bit more maybe possession in the half, but when Santa Barbara goes forward, they look very dangerous.
50-50 ball squirts outside where it is recovered by Rodriguez, and Rodriguez sends it back to midfield, and there the Rams will look to reset. Loose ball poked away. Garcia able to recover, and again the Rams send it back. Pacheco fires a lead pass. Rodriguez can't quite handle it. Maya giving chase with Fisher right there, and Maya sends it out of play. Well, we saw that a little bit in the semifinal game for Fresno City, where it was a similar dynamic. They were really controlling the action in terms of time of possession and had the better looks, and then seemingly out of nowhere, it was Santiago Canyon that was able to mount a quick counter and get a goal and take the lead. And, that is certainly the case here, where you can well imagine that one counter could come forward and all of a sudden we could be looking at a completely different dynamic in the game in terms of score, as that one is sent out of play again.
Especially with the strikers that Santa Barbara has.
Yeah.
They work hard, too, off the ball. I mean, they're very dangerous.
Two teams a combined 45-0-3 on the season. Through Rodriguez, but Fresno City maintains possession. Damian moving up.
Good at midfield play.
Played in the
right
middle
there.
to Sandoval. Back outside. Aguirre gets one on goal, but an easy stop for Telliard.
Oof.
A header at midfield and a little slow getting up. A Santa Barbara player, and we'll try to get a number.
She inadvertently got hit in the back. Kind of got kneed in the back, I felt.
Looks like Montano, and it is. So Montano is up. And the ball will belong to Santa Barbara. here in the 33rd minute. Still no score.
Sheehy wants the ball. She's isolated over on the side over there.
Now drifts toward the middle. Headed high and played out, but not all the way out. Maya tried to one-time it and was wide with the shot. Castaneda will put it down. Garcia tries to control. Loose ball ends up with Fresno City. Back outside. Navarro lost the handle just long enough. Perry plays it back to midfield. Pacheco recovers off to Garcia. Rams trying the left side. Gorostitsa plays it forward. Loses the handle. Back outside. And the throw-in will come. Garcia moving right. Tries to thread one through, looking for Alkire. Telliard will scoop it up. Rainbows the near side. Does Telliard, looking for Sheehy, who puts a little pressure on Damien. Aguirre tries to make a move and goes down, fouled.
It's a good skill from Aguirre to
by Benitez.
Get faced up and draw the foul there.
So the free kick from midfield. Will come from Jasmine Aguirre. Low one hopper. Looking for Luna on a give and go, but it's broken up and now played ahead. They were trying to find Viana with a lead pass from Montano. Instead, Luna will play it outside. Garcia swings it to Damien. Tried to go back to Luna, but the pass off the mark. And Santa Barbara City will just play it back into Fresno territory. Telliard. Damien. This is Alkire. Alkire marked by Benitez. And it's Benitez who goes down, and Alkire picks up the foul, and that'll give it back to Santa Barbara City. So the free kick for Santa Barbara. As we get a quick look at the replay and see Benitez giving away a little bit of size there, but really pestering Alkire, and eventually gets the foul call and gets the ball back for Santa Barbara. This is Benitez back outside. Telliard. Telliard plays it forward. Broken up by Aguirre. Aguirre wants to get it outside and does. Maya with good pressure gets the steal. Montano wanted Viana again, but Pacheco marking Viana very well, and the ball gets through, and now Santa Barbara will have to reset.
Sheehy was open here on that left side if they were able to kind of get it swung out this direction.
Telliard wants to try the right side, looking for Lulu Gilbert. Maya wants Gilbert on the give and go, but it's a little too strong. Out of play, and it'll go back to Fresno City. We're in the 37th minute. Well, Santa Barbara had some good looks deep in Fresno territory in the first part of this first half, but in the last, I feel, 15 or 20 minutes, haven't had as many penetrations into that last third of the Fresno defense. Do you see an adjustment that the Rams have been able to make?
I think they threw some fresher players on the field where Santa Barbara hasn't necessarily made the adjustments and made the same amount of subs, but having said that, just kind of flow of the game. Sometimes you're going to have good portions and you're going to have bad portions.
Pacheco plays this one out. Benitez tracks it down. Vaqueros trying to mount an attack. Castle Ladine. Looking for Viana. It's played back out. Benitez and Aguirre, and it's Aguirre, or I should say, yeah, Aguirre. Navarro on the drive past Castle Ladine, but Perry gets there, plays it back out. This is Sheehy off to Benitez. Played ahead by Mulligan. Loose ball, Mulligan weaves her way through, comes up with it, tries to find Gilbert, and it is sent to Garcia, off to Luna. The Rams have it back.
Fresno's kept the ball a little bit better as the game flowed on, so it's not as open as well, and that's kind of helped Fresno over Santa Barbara.
Garcia and Montano battling, and it's Garcia that comes up with it. Aguirre can't quite handle the pass. Castle Ladine finds Sheehy in open field. Sheehy in from the left. Pacheco is back for Fresno. Sheehy moving in, moving right, looking for an angle, blocked by Pacheco at the point. Sheehy tries to track it down, and that draws a whistle. Working against Aguirre. Well, that seemed to be well defended by Fresno. Is Sheehy in open space? That's about as good as it gets if you're Santa Barbara. That's what you want.
Yep.
But couldn't find a lane to get a shot on Castaneda.
Yeah, Fresno did a great job of getting numbers back around the ball there.
40th minute. Still no score. Benitez. But it's Watson that moves forward and takes that one for a moment. Chipped back to Garcia. And the Rams will set things up at midfield. Viana trying to get in there, battling both Garcia
Mixing it up a little bit, huh?
and Gorostitsa, and almost won the ball. But it'll stay with Fresno City. Isabella Viana, the leading scorer for Santa Barbara with 19 goals on the season, number 11. And it makes for a dangerous trio up front with Viana and on the flanks, Sheehy and Gilbert. So many similarities. One-timer from Garcia is wide right.
Yeah, it's the work rate off the ball from those three, too. They work hard and win balls back off at defenders and put people under a lot of pressure, too, as well as their attacking ability.
41st minute. This one played low and short, but gets through to Mulligan. Mulligan tries the lead pass ahead to Viana. Garcia and Pacheco bracketing Viana, nowhere to go with the ball. Loose ball, Benitez battling, Alkire in there, and it's played out on a one-timer by Castle Ladine. Now Sheehy again with an open field. Sheehy streaking in from the left, chased by Damien, in on Pacheco. Drops the pass off into the box.
Ooh, penalty.
And we have a penalty in the box.
Yep, good combination play. Wow.
Huge as we take a look at the replay and you talk a little bit about what happened on the play here as Gilbert goes down in the box.
Yeah, he attacks the space, plays it to her, a little 1-2, and gets the penalty. That's a great little play there from the front three.
Working well together, Sheehy to Viana to Gilbert, and a massive play, 42nd minute, and it will be a penalty kick, and it will be taken by Montano. Castaneda in goal for Fresno City. Santa Barbara looking for the lead. Meanwhile, looks like a little bit of pushing between Damien and Viana, and
a little bit of pushing, trying to jockey for space and look for in case she misses it, get in the right position.
Okay, because it's a live ball if this is blocked.
You got to stay on the outside the 18 until the ball is kicked. So you people waiting on the outside, and you need to try to charge in.
Here is Montano.
So players have encroached and gone into the 18, so she stopped it, and it's tough for a penalty kick taker to kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna ask who's hating this more right now between Montano and Castaneda.
The shooter for sure.
Okay. Now we're ready. Montano. Blocked by Castaneda. And the crowd here, it's a pro-Fresno crowd, as you would expect in the north, goes crazy on that one. And it's a huge, huge play. The penalty kick is so huge, whether it's a goal, but the block sometimes can almost function like a goal. You have the feeling, the way that it can ignite a team. It will be a corner kick as it went over the crossbar. So right back to it. Hook toward the far post. Batted around in the box. Played out. Alkire on the run. Alkire in open field. Tries to center that pass. Nobody there. Telliard will chip it back to the far corner. Played in. Viana. Top of the box. Has that one poked away. Garcia plays it back out toward midfield where it's chipped outside. Fisher wants to play ahead looking for Alkire. The header sends it to the center. Benitez battling. Still back and forth. Fisher recovers. Fresno wants to mount an attack, but it's chipped back toward midfield. 44th minute, and now just played ahead. And Castaneda, the only one home, back in the Fresno goal. Well, we were almost pressing it there a little bit, talking about how Fresno had really had the time of possession, but one big play can make such a big difference, and for Santa Barbara, just a huge opportunity. But they're unable to cash in, and we remain scoreless as we move toward extra time here at the end of the first half. Gorostitzo was trying to split a double team and goes down, and the ball fired out of the Santa Barbara zone and back toward the Fresno City goal, but out of play on the far side. Well, a pretty good first half here.
Yeah, it's a great first half.
I would say, Coach, it's been fun, and nobody in the book yet, so nothing resolved here. It's the 2017 3C2A Women's Soccer Championship on SoCalCollegeSports.com, and we're very pleased that you've joined us. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
This is not one that we would have wanted to miss. I get the sense that you were very gracious to come and help us out here, but that this is a pretty fun game to watch too. I think you'd have been with us either way.
Yeah, this one's an exciting one.
You could see the heart race.
Rams maybe time for one more rush.
Every time they stop the throw, this is so bad for the kick.
Aguirre plays it back. Damian chips it to Garcia. Garcia trying to weave her way through a crowd, and it's Sheehy that plays it in the center to Viana. Around a slide tackle from Damian. Viana. Top of the box, looking for Gilbert. Gilbert goes down again. No call. Almost another penalty in the box, but no call there, and perhaps the Rams.
I think it was the right call there.
Yeah. But either way, the Rams, fortunate in that they weren't the victim of what might have been a bad call. But either way, it was a dangerous moment. Meanwhile, we have another Santa Barbara player down as we're playing out the time here. And it's Gilbert slowly getting to her feet, I believe. Actually, I believe that's Viana.
It is Viana.
Okay. Still time in extra time here.
Space
Fanned outside. Navarro in from the right. Castle Ledeen marking her closely, and now Navarro just has to flick that one out of play and get the throw in for Santa Barbara. Here's Sheehy working on the near side. Sheehy over the mid-stripe. Centers looking for Viana, who tries to get it back to Sheehy on the give and go, but it's Damian who will send it back to Castaneda, who will play this one back out to midfield. Alkire tries to bicycle that one back the other way, but nothing doing. Benitez trying to win the ball from both Aguirre and Garcia, but it's Aguirre who emerges.
For her size, she covers a lot of ground, Benitez.
Meanwhile, the ball goes back to Santa Barbara, and that'll do it for the first half. We head to halftime. No score. Santa Barbara City and Fresno City, the 2017 3C2A Women's Soccer Championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. halftime from American River College in the Women's Soccer Championship here in the 3C2A. No score. Santa Barbara City College and Fresno City College coming up. We're going to have a couple of guests joining us. Very exciting. Don Williams, Feather River College men's and women's soccer coach, and also California Community College Soccer Coaches Association president. So he's having a busy weekend. Will be joining us for a little while. We'll talk to Don about this event, and obviously we're going to get his thoughts on the game as well. I'm sure he's got some as well. So we'll have Don joining us, and we're hoping to also have some time with Eric Solberg, head coach, Fresno City College men's soccer, and obviously a guy who's had a big day. And with Fresno City, the men winning the soccer championship on the men's side with a 2-0 victory over Taft. That game earlier this morning here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So hopefully Eric will be able to join us for a little while as well, and we'll talk about that victory. And, of course, as always, our thanks to Jason Gant, who will be around and joining us as well, head coach, Sierra Women's Soccer. So hopefully we'll have a few different people to talk to as we move forward. That'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. And we'll also get you ready for the second half. Santa Barbara and Fresno City Women's Soccer Championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Scoreless at the half. closing in on the second half. Fresno City, Santa Barbara City, no score at the break. And we're joined by Don Williams, Feather River College men's and women's soccer coach, CCCAA president as well, California Community College Soccer Coaches Association.
Yeah.
Actually, I find that easier to say than the acronym. But Don, thanks so much for joining us, and obviously this is a very busy weekend for you, but just a terrific event here, and it seems like it's been another success, and I'm not just talking about us.
Well, we appreciate that. You know, it started Thursday night, and these teams were sitting in the banquet, and I told them, hey, if you pay attention, something this weekend is going to happen that you'll tell your grandchildren about, and they'll tell your grandchildren about, and look at these two teams. Here we are.
Yeah.
They'll never forget this moment, will they?
Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot here historically, but obviously a long association in the game and with this event. But how often have we seen, if ever that you can recall, two undefeated teams this far into the season, and two teams that have had, you know, these types of seasons meeting in a final like that? It's quite a dramatic matchup that's really lived up to its billing so far.
It's a dream matchup. It really is. And the thing is, I've seen a team from the south and I've seen a team from the north that maybe were on record about the same.
Yeah.
And then one team would go and dominate the other one. Well, we don't have that going on here today, do we?
No, we certainly do not. And we were impressed in the first half as Jason Gant had joined us, and we'll have Jason back in the second half as well, with the way that Fresno had the ball control and had produced some good opportunities, but then it was Santa Barbara City on a counter that ended up with perhaps the best opportunity with a penalty kick that was blocked by Castaneda. So both teams have had huge chances here early. We're underway in the second half, and a possible attack developing as Riston can't track that one down, and it is played outside and back to Santa Barbara City. Well, what is your impression of the first half, and what have you seen from these two teams? I know you're always in coach mode. I'm sure that you are.
You know, it never leaves, does it? You know, when I was a player, I got to play, but now I'm a coach. I can't enjoy the game anymore. Every game I tear apart analytically.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting that you said the counterattack, because that's really, I get the feeling that that's what this game may come down to, is which team is not organized and prepared to defend that counterattack.
Yeah.
And the one that you'll notice at times that Fresno gets caught with three in the back, and all of a sudden it's a breakaway and it's a 3-on-3. So can they fill the hole between the back line and where the midfield is, right?
Yeah, transition defense.
There you go.
So very critical. Montano has the free kick here for Santa Barbara into the 47th minute. Just underway in the second half, still no score. Montano chips it toward the box, headed high and out toward the near side. And out of play, and this should be another throw-in coming for Santa Barbara.
Now we'll notice here how Fresno has everybody virtually on this side of the pitch. So now the danger's in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to maybe switch the attack to the other side if you can. Looking for Lulu Gilbert, and that one played outside, recovered by Fresno City. So they fight off that challenge and send it back toward midfield. Wilson trying to gain open territory, but it's played back. And we chip back toward midfield, but the aggression continues. But Garibay can't quite find the handle for Fresno City, so another throw-in coming.
You know, I think the problem may be a player like Gilbert maybe breaking loose on somebody, you know, or...
Yeah, Gilbert, we talked about Lulu Gilbert at the top. In the semifinal Friday, it was really Gilbert in the early going that set the tone for Santa Barbara with a couple of very good chances working on that flank. And these teams, as we alluded to, so much in common as you would expect as well, with so much danger on that front line and the ability to make plays. Pacheco, who's had an outstanding game, plays this one free, battling Maya, but the ball ultimately won by the Vaqueros and played ahead. Viana in from the right, challenged by Garcia. Viana battling and has that one taken away. Fresno City will play it back outside.
You know, I was wondering if Fresno was going to make if Santa Barbara was going to make an adjustment at halftime, because you'll notice there on that counterattack there were still only 3 players up front, right? You were wondering if they might throw more players forward to support that attack.
They were trying to find Riston, and she was bracketed. And the throw in too long I do sense one slight adjustment. Garcia, who's had such a big first half and a big weekend, really, patrolling the middle for Fresno City, number 20. And now she's moving back and appears to be shadowing Isabella Viana a little bit more. And Viana is really the focal point of that offensive attack for Santa Barbara City. So
Absolutely.
You see a little bit of the chess match, I imagine, as we move into the second half between these two coaches. Still nothing resolved in a scoreless game. Now the throw-in coming from the near side. Viana tries to center that with a header, but it's played back out. Benitez has moved up, and now the Vaqueros look to set up another attack. Chipped in. Pacheco sends it back out and finds Garcia.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep Benitez going into that attack this half.
Riston with the touch pass to Garibay. Wants to lead Wilson. Wilson in a race with Viana. And that one played outside as it was Madeline Perry.
I'm not sure that's the way that they're going to break down the attack today. That quick counter in right there. I'm not sure that's the way that they're going to break them down. I think it's probably going to happen if they slow it up at that point and then maybe use the midfielders coming up to support that, because then athletically, man-to-man, Fresno can match up with that back line of Santa Barbara. That might be the one place you could break down, is that center back position at Santa Barbara.
Well, it seems very difficult to outrun Fresno really top to bottom on that roster. It's a difficult team. It would appear to outspeed. And so far, it looks like that Santa Barbara has mixed some of that in, trying some of the long passes, but not without a measure of success. They've been able to generate their chances as well, and it'll be interesting to see moving forward here who ultimately unlocks this one and figures out a way, because we're still scoreless. Viana with a little spin, and she goes down battling Pacheco, but the ball still belongs to Santa Barbara. Playing it to Sheehy. Sheehy on the far side, battling against Damien. Tries to center, blocked at the point of attack. And is this a handball? I believe it is. Yep, okay. So this will be a free kick, a dangerous spot developing here for Fresno City. Almost a corner kick, really, if you look at where this free kick will come from.
Now the height of Santa Barbara may come into play if they can deliver the right ball, right?
Yeah, keep an eye. Sheehy in the middle. And you know that Isabella Viana is in there as well. And Fresno going to bring pretty much everybody back. They'll set up a wall, but they're not leaving anybody outside.
You know, that's always a little risky, because now Santa Barbara can keep the ball in, but let's see if it pays off for Fresno City here.
It looks like Viana will take the kick. Here's the approach, hooks this one toward the near post, and it's wide.
Where's a coach that always drive you nuts? You know, you spend 3 minutes setting that whole thing up, and then it gets shanked straight out with no chance to do anything with it. Yeah.
So a missed opportunity for the Vaqueros. And now a goal kick for Telliard. The ball is loose. Garibay tries to play it ahead. The header finds Wilson. Kicks it outside, looking for Navarro. Navarro with a little move, but that one's poked free back to midfield. Sheehy trying to come back to get it, but Damien will have the throw in for Fresno City. Well, did you have an opportunity? I'm sure that you did to watch the men's final earlier today, and
yeah, you know, I also coach the men's team as well as the women's team, so I have a vested interest in always watching both. And, and they're also old friends of mine, you know. So it was a fun one to see, and I was teasing Eric Solberg that the only blemish on his whole season is going to be that he didn't play us this year. So,
well, don't forget to keep reminding him of that one.
Yeah, I'll never let him forget it.
In his championship season, this one squirts through. Gilbert giving chase, but it's played out by Pacheco, and we'll have a throw-in. Well, we were very impressed, and it was a game really told by a few significant plays, but no less then two absolutely amazing, electrifying goals from Fresno City from Rodriguez and Arajo.
Yeah, the comment from us was, it's lovely to have one jaw-dropping goal, but it's really nice when you say it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. Let me show you and do it again.
In a crowd and played back. Riston trying to mount something, but it's Perry. Shaking off a defender, plays it ahead. Too far for Viana here in the 55th minute.
Now that kind of set up for you. If you'll notice what Fresno does is when they do slow the ball down, they'll always have 4 to 5 players right around the ball in the same area, and they want to play the little tick-a-tock and try to get through on you. And if it doesn't work, it's okay because they've got a lot of players in the same area of the ball to defend it if they lose it.
Sheehy trying to switch the attack on the dribble. Benitez fans it outside. Castle Ladine on the drive. Marked by Sandoval. Still with the ball. Castle Ladine weaving through traffic, but it is played back outside, back to the Rams. Rams looking to mount a counter. Garcia makes a little move at midfield. Slide tackle and a beauty from Benitez, but it draws a whistle.
Boy, she's something else when she gets going, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, which one? It was a very impressive ball handling by Garcia, getting that one to midfield as we take a look at the replay. But Benitez has been very impressive, very feisty out there on the defensive end, battling.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Both of them have been dynamic today.
So we're into the 56th minute. This one launched to the front of the box, but played back out. Gilbert finds Viana. Viana, right of the box, wants to center. Now faces up. Continuing to battle Pacheco and a little bit of help. And the steal comes for Fresno City and a foul in the backfield.
Boy, sending that covering defender in there, Fresno might do that better than any team I've seen play in the state this year. Boy, they don't send people to defend alone very often, do they?
Well, it's probably advisable when you're talking about this front line. Taylor Alkire, the one with the help there, and ultimately gets the ball, I think. But, yeah, it's been very sneaky and very effective. It's hard to mount much of an offense. Garibay able to split a couple of defenders, but Telliard sends this one out to the far side where it'll be tracked down by Sheehy. Sheehy streaking down the far sideline. Again, blanketed quickly by 2 defenders, and it's Damien who plays it out of bounds, so we'll have a throw in. Well, it's always amazing to me, and I think it's a testament to the kind of transition ability, but the team speed, but that Fresno City is able to throw 2 defenders at you so often and pressure the ball, and yet able to so quickly then transition to offense with their speed and mount such powerful counterattacks. And, I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I'll ask the simple question, how do they do that?
You know, it's a testament to Oliver and how he coaches. He's been doing this for years. I remember playing him in, I think, 2014, and I had a girl that ended up being selected by Florida State University the year they won the national title. She was on the Ghana national team, and we thought she would just tear them apart in the second round of the playoffs, and my Lord, Oliver did the same thing to us. He just sent 2 and 3 at you all the time. It just meant that they're thinking ahead.
Yeah.
They're always thinking, what happens if and where will I go? They're in good position, ready to go. And, of course, if they're athletically superior to a lot of
if you have a little speed, that doesn't hurt.
It never hurts. Speed kills, as we always say.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. An attack developing here from the right for Fresno. Centering, header and a goal! Sertucci! And just that quickly, we'll get a look at the replay. Well, I think we were talking about the right thing, Don. Just talking about the ability to transition and get from defense to offense.
Well, and you can see it happen there at the back post. They left her alone, didn't they? Yep. So that means you're not checking your shoulder is what that means, and that means your goalkeeper usually is not organizing. Yeah, as a goalkeeper coach, I will tell you right there that is the goalkeeper's responsibility to cover that area that ball came in.
It was Wilson who really set that play up, gaining the corner, and then bringing it in from the right. Sertucci filling the lane, and the header puts Fresno City on top 1-0 in the 59th minute.
Boy, it's almost like she just looked up and picked her out. And a very calm header. I'll tell you, college soccer, the nerves are flying even at that moment. Even when you know it's easy and it should go in, it's not always easy to do it. And she very calmly slotted it home, didn't she?
Yeah, in any sport, it's so critical for the fundamentals to finish the play. And, I think that we see that there. And, it's easy to get ahead of yourself. And great job by Wilson. Great job by Zertucci. Meanwhile, a one-timer coming from Montano was over the crossbar.
Well, we talked about the counterattack. And we talked about being prepared in that counter defensive position, always being ready to defend no matter what.
Wilson once again plays this one back to Garcia. Benitez able to win the ball. Garcia bumps, picks up the foul. Will have a free kick for Santa Barbara. Well, Santa Barbara did trail in their game on Friday night as well against Folsom Lake. They were down 1-0, came back 2 goals to ultimately take that one down, and they're going to have to find a way one more time here in the 60th minute as they trail this one 1-0 after Fresno City strikes. This one squirts through, but Pacheco plays it back out to the top of the box. Wilson checked by Benitez with a good move. Wilson moving to the near side. Once again around Benitez over the midfield stripe. Playing it across. It was Sandoval. Aguirre mounting another charge. Off to Zertucci, who had the goal. Zertucci wants to center. Off of Maya. Played back to the top of the box to Sandoval. Sandoval challenged, and it's Santa Barbara that wins the ball. Nice job getting that ball back and thwarting that attack by Montano.
Boy, I love how calm Fresno was in that little movement forward there. It was just possession-based, 2-touch, keep moving the ball. If they do that to Santa Barbara for the rest of this half, it's going to be a long half for Santa Barbara.
And now if you're Santa Barbara, here's the particularly scary thought. You might have to start taking a few more chances here because, we're talking about we're into the second half, 62nd minute. Talk about a dangerous team against whom to take chances.
Well, and this becomes the part of the game where us coaches start saying, okay, at what moment do I go with 2 in the back or 3 in the back? What moment do I do it? Do I do it too early and then all of a sudden it's 2-0 on the counter, right?
Yep.
Or do I go when I risk it? So it's always a guessing game. Most of us will wait till about 10, 12 minutes to throw everything, including the goalkeeper, forward if we get a chance.
Riston in the box, couldn't quite put the foot to it, but Zertucci trying for the near post, and it's blocked by Telliard. High arcer.
Boy, Telliard even looked a little bit nervous on that one right there, even that ball coming in there.
We talked about that, when you're down 1-0, every save is essentially a game-saving save. I mean, at that point, because it's got to be difficult, especially in the second half, to contemplate coming from 2-0 down. It's not impossible, but at this point, a lot of pressure on Telliard because one more is going to be a real problem. Looking for Viana, and that one over the end line and out of play, and it will belong back to Fresno.
She's grabbing her neck or her shoulder there. She's not getting up quickly.
Viana still down on the turf, and let's take a look.
Doesn't look good.
Well, there was some contact as they battled for the ball. No whistle, but nonetheless, still some bumping as they're going after it. And we'll have to wait. Well, we've seen more of the bench of Fresno City so far than for Santa Barbara, and we suspected that both teams pretty deep, and it's a pretty cool afternoon, so you wouldn't think that fatigue would be too much of a factor, but you would think if one team's going to be a little more prone, I think Santa Barbara's gone with the shorter bench today. But obviously you have to watch that moving forward with a little more reliance on some of those top players, not the least of which is Isabella Viana.
Yeah, you get into these finals, and typically you might go 15, 16, maybe 17 deep, and usually that's about it. But you're right. Yeah. This is the second game now in 2 days, and you say you have a day's rest in between. It should be enough, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Even if you're 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah.
Played ahead, but squirts through to Pacheco, who plays it back out to midfield. Wilson so dynamic, couldn't quite get a handle on it. Instead, it stays with Santa Barbara. That one played outside, but too wide for Gilbert. Maya coming up to challenge Zertucci, who plays it forward. Benitez digs it out again, but can't find Gilbert. Aguirre looking for Wilson. It just squirts past, and Castle Ladine able to track it down, and now those two battle as the ball is kicked out of play, and it will belong to Fresno here in the 65th minute.
Tell you, Fresno's going to have to figure out a way to get a little bit more support to those forward players as they get up in there.
So Fresno City looks to mount another attack here. Kicked back outside. And played out of bounds, and another throw in coming. The long throw in, Riston plays that one out, and then a little bit of pushing there as it's getting spirited. As you would expect in the second half, tightly contested game. Perry and Riston been battling, and this is just going to, I think, draw a warning from the ref of enough of that.
Look, if it's 1-0 and it starts getting later and later, you know you're going to get a little bit more of that, and it's important that the referee send that message right there. And I like the way she did it. It didn't have to be a yellow card, just a talking to.
Yep.
Let's calm down and play soccer.
Yep. Oh, an awful lot on the line here, to say the least. And two teams that, let's face it, in the literal sense, don't know how to lose this year. I think I mean that in the good sense, that both have been so successful. Gilbert cut off by Pacheco, played outside to Zertucci. Zertucci chips it ahead. Wilson quickly bracketed, tries to split the double team. Benitez plays it out, and Maya will play it out of bounds.
Good team defending there by Santa Barbara. Well done.
Well, they were aware of Anissa Wilson before, and you better believe they are now after Wilson broke down the defense and found Zertucci for the goal. And you saw two white jerseys very quickly in the area when Wilson had the ball coming her way.
Well, at soccer at this level, when we're talking about 18, 19-year-old women just starting really their collegiate careers, it's nice to see when they can make an adjustment during a game like that.
Yeah. Yep. Wilson plays this one. It's out of bounds, and it will stay with Fresno City. The pass too high for Riston. Maya quickly surrounded and has to play this one out of bounds. But did she actually met? Nope. They're going to say this is off of Maya, so another throw in coming for Fresno City. Goristiza looking once again for Riston. The ball on the ground in the box. Luna battling for it. And the ball over the end line, and it will stay, or I should say, it will belong to Santa Barbara. And the goal kick coming.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to have to get going here in just a moment, and I'll be down there handing out the championship trophy.
Well, I tell you, your work is never done here this weekend, and we know it well done. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. That was a lot of fun, and appreciate you taking the time. And yes, we will see each other again. Hopefully, we're back here and we continue to cover this. It's a lot of fun for us.
Oh no, we'll have you out. I think you guys are a permanent fixture in California soccer now, and junior college soccer. And we much appreciate you guys doing this. And what a wonderful job, and what a venue, huh? What do you think of our venue?
It's fantastic, and it's been getting rave reviews all weekend from everybody up here. So we're really enjoying it. Meanwhile, Fresno City on the attack. It's hard to have a conversation when the Rams are playing. They just won't give you much time as the attack is relentless. And Don Williams, again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to working more here in the future, and we've really had a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
All right, Don. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. All right, thanks. Well, the guest parade continues, and we're joined by Fresno City men's soccer coach Eric Solberg, who's had a pretty big day today. And first of all, Coach, congratulations. It's got to be a great feeling, and you guys had a fantastic season, and you capped it off today in fantastic style.
Yeah, it's at this point it's been surreal for me. Kind of 19 years at work, so we were in the final last year, and to get back to the final this year and then finish it was certainly great for our sophomores.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because you got so close last year, and this is a familiar refrain in the world of sports where you get to the doorstep. And talk about the feeling walking off of the field last year in the final, and the team's outlook. And was it like, now we got to get this done? We're this close, we can do it.
Right. Well, last year is was as tough as it gets because it was on the 5th penalty kick.
Yeah.
Literally the last play of the 2016 season.
Yeah.
And I had a great group. Knew we were going to have a shot really from the time we met in July.
Yep.
And this year's team, I actually didn't have that same feeling about early on. But obviously we had Johnny Rodriguez, the guy up top, might be a serious candidate for National Player of the Year. And we have him, and then we had some other pieces from last year's team, and they just dug their heel in. And then we got a couple good freshmen coming in, and kind of went our way.
Well, talk a little bit about, because obviously Johnny Rodriguez is one of the first guys you think of, a centering pass here looking for Riston, and it's out of bounds, and it'll go back to Santa Barbara. But Rodriguez, and can you talk a little bit about just what makes him so special as a player, and what you feel like ultimately might be his upside in his future in soccer?
Well, he's a guy, I think he scored 46 goals in 2 years. I would imagine somebody's done that, but nobody's done that in my 19 years.
Yeah.
What makes him special, though, is he creates space in very small areas. Like his goal today, he had guys hanging on him, and he just took one step and banged it with his left foot.
One-timer just over the crossbar. Pretty good swing from Frankie Navarro.
Yeah, so he could get, he can get a shot off with either foot at any time, and he's got multiple scholarship offers. And
yeah, no, I didn't see enough of him to know if it was the natural, but it was a left footer today.
Yeah, and he's a right-footed guy.
Yeah, and it had some heat on it. Not unheard of, obviously, but far from it. But nonetheless, it really demonstrated
He's just super strong on the ball.
Yeah,
he's good in the air.
Yep.
Lays the ball. I think the biggest change from this year to last year is, as we're watching this here, he has learned to lay the ball off. I think he has 13 or 14 assists this year.
Yep.
And last year, I believe he had 2 or 3. And so he's learned that as people are crashing to him, he's got to lay the ball off. And I think that's really where his game has stepped up. He had to carry more of the load this year, too, especially earlier in the year. We were having a hard time scoring. He was the only one scoring. But then we had some guys step up and start, Manuel Lopez out of Kerman came in, and I think he ended up double digits.
And how about his makeup sort of personality-wise? How did he take to the idea? Because sometimes, and oftentimes when a player is, really ultra-talented and the kind of guy who can do so much on his own, you really have to kind of sell him on the idea of how to make teammates better, how to really make a team better with all that they can do. And talk a little bit about, your relationship to him as a coach and really bringing that to his game.
Well, he's certainly, he and I are very tight, and as, a lot of 2-year players at this level wind up being. But I think what he realized is he had such a crazy start to the season, coming off last season, and then having a crazy start to the start of this season. And then people just started doubling up on him, and that he just, we talked to him and said, you're not going to continue on this pace unless you start laying the ball off.
Yeah.
And he realized that, and then and really that's what made us a lot better, because, we had some other guys start getting in the fold. Friday night we had 2 goals that had not much really to do with him, although I thought he played fantastic Friday night.
Vaquero's trying to mount an attack.
This is quite a women's final here as well.
Yeah, how about this one? And, a back-and-forth first half, and it's been a lot of pressure from Fresno City, but Santa Barbara with a huge chance of penalty kick in the first half. And
That penalty kick can, really sink you mentally, but they seem like they're hanging in here. Fresno resilient, one of their best players out of the game with Bracamontes.
Yeah, Bracamonte had to leave in the first half, and she had such a big part of the victory on Friday. Her speed really terrorizing Santiago Canyon for much of that game, and the corner kick sails long out on the other side, and this will be another corner kick.
Yes, for me, she's their best offensive weapon. I haven't watched the girls, multiple times, but I've seen them, half a dozen times, and she's always been the threat for them.
Well, it's very interesting to see here also that obviously as we watch the men's team play here last year and now the women's team here, and you get this crowd and stuff, that this has to be very exciting for the school, but also for the community. People are really getting behind the success you guys are having, and it's enormous this year. We're talking about the possibility of sweeping the men's and the women's.
Yeah, that would be something special. Oliver and I are close friends, and this has kind of been, for him and I, this is my 19th year. I think this is his 17th. But we both have been close, and you got to have a little bit of luck,
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about that both of the Fresno City women, after such a outstanding regular season, they were trailing in the semifinal game, and they had to find a way, to persevere and get back, and they got the goal in the second half and got it to penalty kicks. But I'm sure better than anybody, and as a soccer coach, that once you get the penalty kicks, boy, anything can happen.
Yeah, it's a painful way to end it. There's always talk of different ways to end it, but there really isn't a good way to end it when it goes like that. But hopefully this one doesn't go to PKs and that the win is decided on the field.
Well, I know one pretty good way to end it, Coach, and that's to come back the next year and win the championship.
Yep. Yeah, it was like I said, I can honestly say it really hasn't sunk in with me. You hear people say that, and that's kind of the case. Yeah. I won a state title as an assistant coach in baseball. I've been a baseball coach at City for 30 years.
Yep.
And then kind of transferred into this job when I became full-time faculty. But we won it in my third year as a coach, baseball coach, along with Coach Ron Scott, the head coach there. And really didn't appreciate it. Thought you're going to win a bunch more. When you're only 27, 28 years old, and you get one relatively easy, it feels like you're going to get a bunch more. And the reality is that usually is not the case. So, for me, this was just personally was a kind of a final stamp on my, I guess, coaching.
Yeah.
Resume.
And as we talked about, the first men's soccer championship for the school, so
ultimately
you're achievement certainly.
Ultimately you're happy for the boys and the players. I felt, some of our alumni from last year's team was here, and those are the ones I kind of looked at and felt bad for, because they were right there in the middle of it last year. And
yeah, just missed it. This one.
That being said,
they were far post and scooped up.
They were happy for us and happy for me, and so. But it's still it's tough looking at them because absolutely last year I don't think we win this year without what we went through last year.
Wilson trying to thread this one through, but too much traffic kept alive. Inside the box, a chance here and another goal. Taylor Alkire able to get behind her defender, get in one-on-one on Telliard, and completes the job. And in the 78th minute, Fresno City now leads it 2-0. And now it's the women from Fresno City that can smell a championship. It's getting close now. What a job in the second half, and you guys today, an interesting dynamic in that you were able to play and get a win against a pretty familiar foe in Taft that you had seen twice, and no score in 240 minutes. You guys hadn't been able to solve much in those two games. But can you talk a little bit about how that impacted today, and from a coaching standpoint, and what you were able to do, and playing a team, and what made it difficult in playing a team that obviously knew you really well?
I felt good about playing them today because I felt comfortable about what they did. And a lot of times you kind of like to play somebody maybe you don't know. But today I kind of just felt like I felt more comfortable playing them today. And the main reason why is they're very defensive, maybe the best defensive team in the state. And I just felt that having the best offensive player in the state, that we could probably find one today, and we found one early. They're great opponents. I have nothing but great respect for them, and have really grown to be friends with their head coach.
This one sent just wide.
It was, it's good and bad, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're representing the Central Valley Conference with 2 teams.
Yep.
And so it was kind of unique that way. And, I told Angelo yesterday, I saw him, said, I'll be happy for you, maybe a week later. not initially. And he said the same. And I think, in some ways you're not happy you lost the game, but you can be sometimes happy for your opponent. Or not happy for your opponent in a way, because you never want to lose the game, but that they were deserving. And Taft was, certainly deserving of being in the final.
Yeah, it was an intriguing matchup in that Taft was a team that had started 4-4-1, and then really by the end of the year, obviously, had things had gelled in such a way that you really had to feel like you were really playing a different team.
Yeah, I think what they did, we didn't see them when they lost some games early, but they obviously, I thought they played the toughest schedule in the state. And they took a few lumps early. My guess is they kind of figured out how they needed to win and then became more defensive. And the one thing about them, they are super young.
Gilbert trying to lead a charge, finds Viana, who has returned. Isabella Viana tries to spin back left. The help comes in, and they're able to clear that one back out. Another big collision near midfield, and that draws a whistle. And the ball is going to belong to Fresno City. It was Wilson and Telliard, and predictably here it's getting pretty physical into the 82nd minute. Fresno City has taken a 2-0 lead and really dominated the second half. And you talk about what you've seen. I know you have a little bit this season, but so far also just up here watching this game, this has been a very impressive second half for Fresno City College.
Yeah, I thought Santa Barbara started to get the game going a little bit in the second half of the first half, the final 20, and thought, maybe they're starting to move forward in the game a little bit. But
chip toward the front of the goal. And Castaneda aggressively out. Dangerous play, but well executed, and ends up with the ball.
The turning point of the game is probably, the PK. That it's fortunate for one team, unfortunate for the other.
Yeah, Looms has a huge play, along obviously with a couple of goals here in the second half. But you had the feeling, I think you're exactly right, Coach, that that was the high water mark for Santa Barbara City in terms of they seemed to really be pushing the action and had gotten exactly what they were looking for. And a great chance, but you got to give a lot of credit. A big save by Castaneda.
Yeah, I think Fresno City, what they've done in this half is they've just possessed the ball and kind of worn them down a little bit.
Pacheco can't quite handle this one. Wide open chance in from the right. 2-1. Santa Barbara gets one back. Riley Moore. Okay, they're waving this one off. And, Coach, did you see what the
No, I think they're counting it. They're just bringing it back.
Okay. All right, well, I was getting confused. I didn't see what the call was.
It was great. That was a great finish. That was a great finish by her.
The ball squirts past, and we were talking about, maybe a bad break in the first half, missing the penalty kick and, losing that opportunity. And there may be a little bit of good fortune as the ball squirts past, and it's Riley Moore who finds herself in one-on-one, and give Moore all the credit in the world. She takes full advantage and finds the corner, and it's a 2-1 game. And, well, I know this much from talking to the coaches this weekend. When you're trailing 2-0, first thing you want to do, you want to get one back, get yourself back within one goal, and then go from there. You're just trying to get one. Well, mission accomplished, and in the 84th minute, Santa Barbara's got a chance.
They say that 2-0 is the worst lead in soccer because you relax a little bit. And I can speak to that. We were up 2-0 in the 2002 final to my good friend Marty Kinahan at Santa Rosa and gave it away in the last 20 minutes. So Santa Barbara's back in it, obviously got the momentum, and we'll see if Fresno can kind of – I mean, this is where you hope you've coached and taught a few things how to kill the game, and that's what Fresno City needs to do while Santa Barbara's in the desperation mode.
We're in the 85th minute, and from a coaching standpoint, is it a little bit of how to scheme or what's the best way to play when you have that particular lead? And is it also, do you get a little bit of nerves sometimes when you're up like 2-0 and you're like, boy, we don't want to blow this one.
Right.
And, it can be a little difficult out there to figure how aggressive you really want to be. This one's played in left of the box looking for more once again, but it's cleared away. And it'll be a throw-in for Santa Barbara on the far side.
A lot of times the game kind of turns into a little bit of a kickball game, trying to just move the ball forward and get out of trouble. But the best thing you can do, and it's hard to do it, is to relax and try and possess the ball, and kill the game that way. They have a thing they call take it to the corner, and, move the ball towards the corners, keep the ball out of the middle of the park. And all the problem is all easier said than done.
Well, especially when a good team is pressuring you everywhere too, and
they're trying to do
everything at you.
Yeah, they're trying to do everything opposite of that. So
this one's played out.
I always tell my boys, in this situation, you're going to get You would think Santa Barbara is going to get another chance somewhere. So it's just a matter of burying it. And Fresno City, the good news is Santa Barbara's pressed forward. So if you can get the ball forward, you got a shot at getting in.
This is Moore trying to mount an attack. Moving to the right, tried to center it into the box, and it's knocked away at the point of attack and out to the corner where it's recovered by Fisher. Fisher moving right.
So we got probably 4 minutes and some change here.
Gilbert able to knock that one out of play, so it'll be a goal kick here in the 86th minute. Yeah, you got to figure a good few minutes.
I would think 2 to 3. We had 4 in our game today, and I was counting every second. One of my coaches said, "Hey, it's over," and there was about a minute left. I said, "It ain't over. I haven't heard the whistle."
Well, let me tell you something. That's a pretty brave coach right there.
Yeah.
To say that to you in that situation. A little pushing and shoving between Telliard and Taylor Alkire, and that gets a little chippy, and this one's going to go against Telliard, so it'll be a free kick for Fresno City. About 35 yards out.
These are the things you need if you're Fresno City. You need some free kicks, starts killing the clock a little bit. This is one you can send in and try and score, but you could also play the ball into the corner and hold the ball. I tend to probably play this one in. There's still enough time.
Jasmine Aguirre with the approach. Lifts this one toward the far post, headed outside by Telliard. Kept alive. The Rams still have it. Alkire tries a drive. Goes down. Navarro retrieves. And the foul goes against Fresno City, so Telliard will have the free kick. Gets it going quickly. Out to the midfield stripe, where it's played back in by Kalia Ashley. And Ashley came on Friday and played a very good second half in that defensive spot for Fresno City as they advanced against Santiago Canyon.
Santa Barbara pushing another person forward. Basically got 4 up top now.
2-1 the score. Scoreless at the intermission, but a flurry of action here in the second half, and Santa Barbara trying to pull what would be a bordering on a miracle comeback after falling behind 2-0 and try and get a couple late. They got one back on a breakaway for Riley Moore. Another whistle. This one's going to belong to Fresno City, and as you talked about, Coach, exactly what you want if you're the Rams.
Yeah, every time there's a foul, you're going to kill 23 seconds, and these seconds are important at this point.
Well,
Figuring maybe 4, maybe 5 minutes left in the game.
Your friend and colleague Oliver Germond is having to endure a little more sweats here, finishing it out than you had to today. Although I'm sure you were plenty nervous anyway. What coach wouldn't be? But they're having to work for it here in the 89th minute. It's still 2-1. The one-timer played ahead, looking for Viana. Viana circles right, tries to center, and it's broken up.
Looks like a corner. These are the moments you think maybe it's your last moments. You got to get a clearance, or you got to find one if you're Santa Barbara.
Aguirre getting back into that passing lane, and now Santa Barbara will load up in the box. They have one back. Do the Vaqueros. This one sent in on the near post, through the goal mouth, bat in front. The save made. Another one-timer blocked at the point. The swing on the right side is wide, and that went right through the goal mouth that I couldn't see in the scrum there, but it looked like they got a shot on point, and someone was able to just get a piece of it and send it back out.
That was, if you're Fresno City, that was a little close for comfort there.
It just trickled right through the goal mouth.
It basically went right across the, maybe a 1 yard line across the front of the mouth.
Yeah. And we are into extra time. And what a chance. And, well, you did have a similar experience on Friday night. You guys took the 2-0 lead on Mount San Antonio College, and they really pressed you guys down the stretch. They got one and had a look at one.
Had one on the post.
Yeah. And that's a little bit, I imagine, of what you're talking about when you say, you need a little bit of fortune too. Doesn't hurt. Possible breakaway here. Alkire in, working against Maya. The left footer is over the crossbar. Well, that would have done it.
That would have done it. Now, basically, you're reduced down to a big ball in behind, and that's really Santa Barbara's only chance here.
They got to work at the length of the field. Good pressure from Aguirre battling against Montano. Alkire trying to keep it alive. Zertucci staying after Gilbert. Gilbert goes down. No call. Gilbert plays it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in extra time. Gorostitsa sends it in down to the corner where Telliard has to retrieve. Plays it off of Alkire. Back to Riston. The Rams doing a great job of controlling the ball in extra time, trying to run this one out. And we have a foul called. Crowd going crazy anytime they hear a whistle.
I heard that one earlier today, actually, and I thought the same thing, and here we are again. I thought that was it, maybe.
Yellow card going here now on Riston on the free kick. And I think that's a yellow card that you'll absolutely trade if you're Fresno City College in that one. Going to give that one away.
This is actually the worst time to be a soccer coach on both ends. It's maddening.
And by that, what do you mean more specifically?
Well, you feel helpless, and because of the way the clock is run under the FIFA rules, which is what we currently are playing, you kind of don't know where exactly you're at. Although they've told them. So you've got it probably marked, but
Vaqueros trying to mount one more charge. They'll have a throw, and it'll come from Maya. Maya launches in the direction of Viana. Played back out. The one-timer played in. Pacheco is there, sends it back out. Back to midfield. Alkire.
I believe that's it.
And there's the whistle. Fresno City with the sweep. The men take care of business earlier today for the championship, and now it's the Fresno City College women that can celebrate at midfield. They are the 2017 3C2A Women's Soccer Champions here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We're so happy to bring it to you. We'll come back, cover the trophy presentation, and name the MVP. Well, we don't do that, but we'll have that for you as well. And more of the post-game festivities here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Stick around.
Mary Campa. Michaela Pena. Jasmine Garabay. Sophia Zertucci. Madison Fisher. Consuelo Luna. Ashton Bracamonte. Marissa Gallardi. Reina Riston. Ariana Rodriguez. Frankie Navarro. Anissa Wilson. Tori Cole. Jasmine Aguirre. Gabriella Watson. Precious Goros Isa. Kalea Ashley. Taylor Alkire. Cassie Sandoval. Juliana Garcia. Mariana Osagueda. Elvira Hernandez. Cassandra Romero. Alyssa Damian. Danielle Pacheco. Erica Calderon. And Caitlin Albison. We've got a couple assistant coaches as well who deserve recognition. Christina Monreal. Mary Tyler Wall. And the head coach, Oliver Germont. One more time, the 2017 state champions, the Fresno City College Rams.
Brianna Castaneda named the MVP, thanks in no small part to a huge save on a penalty kick in the first half. It really secured the momentum heading into the second half for Fresno City College, and they made the most of it, going out in front 2-0 before holding on for a 2-1 win. And they are your 2017 3C2A Women's Soccer Champions. Fresno City College with the sweep today. The men take care of business earlier, a 2-0 victory over Taft. So Fresno City College, the men and the women, soccer champions here in 2017. Want to pass along a lot of thanks today. First of all, Jason Gant, head coach at Sierra College, joining us on the broadcast, and we really enjoyed having him and his commentary. Also, Eric Solberg, obviously, congratulations today, the head coach of the Fresno City College men's team, and he was gracious enough to join us today on such a big day, and we really enjoyed having an opportunity to talk with him and Don Williams, men's and women's soccer head coach at Feather River, and by the way, the 3C SCA commissioner, president of the Soccer Coaches Association here for the California Community Colleges. Of course, the thanks go on from there. Everybody here at SoCalCollegeSports.com, everybody up here in the booth that helped David Silverstein on stats, Mike Robles from the 3C2A, Matt Folsom, PA announcer, and JoJo from Fresno City College. And as I turn to Matt, Matt, a guy is really popular when he can go by first name only. And we asked JoJo because we wanted to acknowledge that he's been very helpful this weekend, helping us acclimate ourselves and get ourselves ready for our broadcast here, working with the Fresno City College teams. And JoJo is always so helpful in so many ways, and we wanted to thank him and make a special case. Asked him his last name, and he said, "Just JoJo from Fresno City College. Everybody will know who I am." So that's a guy there with a lot of friends. No last name necessary, but we definitely want to thank JoJo as well.
Absolutely.
Always making time for us and helping out in any way he can, and he's a great guy. So we're happy to pass along those thanks. And everybody, of course, at the 3C2A, George Matagakis and Carlisle Carter, and obviously without those guys, this wouldn't happen. So
David Silverstein, I don't know if you mentioned him already.
David. And we got to him a little bit earlier, but George and Carlisle, of course, helping to really bring this to you. And leading things into 3C2A. So our thanks to them as well. And, of course, most of all, thanks to you for joining us as well. And, of course, I always have to thank you personally, Matt. And thanks to Matt Henson. But so happy you joined us. It was a fabulous weekend, and it ends with a Fresno City College sweep. The women finishing it off 2-1 here with the victory to take home the championship here in game number 2. That'll wrap it up here from American River College. Also, just a very quick thanks to everybody here at American River College. I'd be remiss if we didn't thank all the people here working this event, and so many volunteers who really stepped up and helped out as well, and did anything they could to help us bring this to you. So, again, Fresno City College, the men's and women's soccer champions here in 2017. I'm Jeff Stoynoff. For everybody here at SoCalCollegeSports.com, so long, everybody.